Welcome to day 3 of our RISE PECOWorld Summit. AI is something that is really, I don't know whether to say buzzword or what. It's disturbing for some, it's very exciting for some. And now, Alice, you're going to talk about it. You're going to actually tell us how to use AI to make philanthropy work for CSR, NGOs, and communities together, right? Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. And it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Alice Luke, who's a community builder and social impact professional who has been actively creating spaces for collaboration, dialogue, and meaningful engagement across the sectors. The detailed bio is in the chat, of course. And so, Alice, over to you. We're really looking forward to the session.
Thank you so much, Hima, for such a uprising introduction. Loved it totally, and yes, I understand, and I know for a fact that we've been having a lot of dialogue around AI and the kind of impact that it is creating in philanthropy. I started when we started building HELPSTiR. At that time, technology was not being as much utilized in the philanthropy sector, and we were like amongst the one who were like really pioneering in terms of how do we make existing systems work better with technology, since I come with the background of AI transformation, digital transformation with larger organizations like Barclays. But building HELPSTiR is more of like a calling that I am following, and it has beautifully turned out as well. And the path that we are taking from here, and with the rise of AI as well, I think it's such a very perfect intersection of how can we use these evolving technologies to create better outcomes for communities within the country. And that's the total goal. And today I'm going to be talking about, demystifying and also demything certain, aspects of AI. And I will try to, you know, um, this next 1.5 hours I'll cover certain portions of the content and frameworks that I have created that funders and also NGOs can use, right, to understand where can they use AI, how can they use AI, do they need to use AI, at what, do the diagnostics, and also I'll probably have a dialogue later and answer some of the questions that worry some questions, right? Inquisitive questions, curious questions. Very happy to answer them towards the end of the session. I'm very happy to also answer the sessions between the session. If there's something that's too curious and you want me to answer then and there, like treat it like we can like take a pause and also answer your questions. So yeah.
Great.
I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna just 1 second. I've prepared something, so I think that will be helpful for the conversation today. One second. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Himaji has very beautifully introduced me, so I'm not going to introduce myself. Just few things apart from HELPSTiR as well. I'm also chair in UNESCO, and I'm representative of women and children for on the lens of ethics in AI for South Asia in UNESCO. So I am actively contributing in advocacy work and research work with UNESCO on AI and impacts of AI on underserved communities, and also ethics, particularly with the gender lens, right? So I want to start with, I know that there is a lot of like people say sometimes it's buzzword, or it makes them nervous on what could AI do to outcomes, right? And I think I think at around the time that AI really started to get into consumers' hands, right? AI has been there for institutional use, for research use, mm, for decades now. It is just that it has gotten so much in consumer hands now that, now people are starting to experiment the use cases out of it, and philanthropy in itself has, started to explore that segment of technology now seriously, right? But things are getting serious because there are a lot of lenses, right, and a lot of regulatory requirements, funder requirements, and even how beneficiary requirement for that matter, is changing with the introduction of AI, because everybody understands technology now, everybody understands basic digital little bit, and the next leap to deliver better outcomes can be done through AI, right? So I want to talk about some myths first, right? Heard a lot people saying that AI is for tech savvy people and NGOs, and our NGO partners, our tech savvy NGOs and our partners are not ready for AI, right? Wherein the leverage right now on using AI is actually on our side, right? On our side in terms of how do we do discovery, due diligence, demonstration of everything on the funder side is actually the leverage is with us, because no longer there is need for manually filling up sheets, or manually filling up multiple trackers, taking details on emails, wherein now AI can basically take all your data and give you better outcomes, better views, right? So we think that our partners are not ready and it's only for tech savvy NGOs, but AI has taken that progression now that it is so easy to use. It's as easy as using WhatsApp, or as easy as using YouTube. Even for sharing of a little bit about what we're doing at HELPSTiR, even at HELPSTiR, we are partnered with now grassroots organizations in aspirational districts, right? Who you know we would have never imagined to even reach those districts so soon, but the tech adoption, it's so fast right now in aspirational districts. So partners are actually ready, even smaller partners in aspirational districts are ready for that matter. It is still early. There is a myth that I hear a lot, that it's still early, let's watch what's happening and decide what happens from here. It's We think it's early, but it's actually, generative AI was actually launched in early 2022, and in the last 2 years, in last 3 years actually, 3 4 years, lots have progressed since the time the chat GPT was first launched to where we are right now in terms of how the technology has progressed. It's massive, right? So in philanthropy and giving as well, it's not early. It's actually, philanthropy as a sector is now just catching up to where the world is heading in terms of AI applications, be it AI in healthcare, in education, and defense, or all those aspects. AI has actually taken big leaps, but philanthropy is one section which is still catching up. And in fact, it's, you know, when it's catching up, it's not at all early. There are a lot of organizations that are thinking AI and incorporating AI into their workflows. We'll also talk later in the session on how do you understand, where do you fit AI solutions into your current, how you, in your current processes. But yeah, it's definitely not early. The outcomes will not change. Why bother retooling? Yes. I also hear this a lot at times, that we were impacting 5,000 children earlier, or say 10,000 children earlier, and with our programmatic efforts are not going to change. So what's really going to change? um, um, what is actually going to say be changing is how you see that impact happening, right? Earlier, when you were like maybe doing a project, all the reporting was your view of impact, reporting, everything was dependent on year-end reports, on mid-year reports. But now with AI, all these trackings are actually possible real time. Like today, you can see from until yesterday to last 2-3 months what impact was created, making reporting absolutely real time visible, so that at any point if you see that the program in even in like 3 months in something is not working, and you see that already as an outcome, as a reporting in the real time, then you're able to fix that at that time instead of waiting until the end of the year when you actually get year end reports, and then you see, okay, this worked out and this did not work out, right? So AI makes all that possible. uh This is actually from a very interesting report that has been issued by the Standing Committee on Finance, right, in August 2025. It's a very interesting report. I would actually share the link to that report since it's a parliamentary report that was issued. And this report actually highlighted some very important things. These important things, these important points actually point towards why better reporting and why more tool based, more technology based reporting is going to become more and more important, even from a regulatory standpoint. The the report actually spoke about few important aspects. The first one is the quality of expenditure, how the expenditure was being done, right? And like in terms of not just like, okay, you had 50 lakhs of funds, so you expensed out of it, but what were the outcomes that you created, right? The regulators are actually placing a lot of emphasis, even with the the new regulation. I'm sure you guys have seen with SSC and everything coming in, the regulators are actually placing a lot of importance on the quality of expenditure that is done, right? And hence, like when I say quality, it means more reportable outcomes, right, which are traceable, geotagged, right? And not just like annual reports, but outcome based spending is what the regulators are talking about, right? So that and then AI governance aspect, right? The state is also talking about giving on a more macro level, when a more macro level in the sense how in the gazette as well it is mentioned, the reporting and tracking is becoming extremely an important aspect of these of these processes for the regulators, right? How the reporting is being done, not just what is being reported, but how the reporting is being done is also something that the regulators are looking very keenly into, right? Also, of course, there is a lot of a lot of emphasis on investing in aspirational districts by the regulators, but also how aspect of the reporting is also being looked into, right? Uh, Investment in people through higher wages and reskilling and mental health support. This is directly from the mandate that the regulators have issued, that they need, that there is a lot of emphasis on upskilling and mental health support and reskilling and skill development for the country. This has been given special attention and as a recommendation as well from in the parliamentary standing committee report, right? Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. The vision is to leave no one, right? And when the regulators also, like as I mentioned, there is a lot of focus on aspirational districts, right? Right now in the CSR system is, I understand, fairly new, 10, 12 years old here, but a lot, and we are all aware how philanthropy and funding has been absolutely hyper concentrated, right? Because of its own reasons, because NGOs are not visible, due diligence is not possible in such aspirational districts, or there's no trust in the NGO partners, or we don't know who the right partners are for the projects, which makes a lot of needs invisible, right? But with AI, hyperlocal impact in aspirational districts, reaching the beneficiaries in these aspirational districts with very less digital modes are actually possible. Uh, to AI capabilities like voice is going to actually change how help and support and philanthropic tools are delivered to the last mile, in terms of even like to the people of rural India. Voice makes it possible for people to access resources based in their own language. Like I can just say ke, um, to the AI that मैं से गया बिहार में रहती हूँ और मैं 16 साल की हूँ और मैं स्कूल नहीं जाती हूँ, and the voice will be able to capture all these information that the beneficiary is saying about themselves and align them to the right kind of support, which was very difficult to discover these kind of beneficiaries, since they don't know how to operate phone, they don't know who to call, they don't know who to reach out to. So voice and hyperlocal due diligence models through AI actually make this a lot possible. So this is how the philanthropy and AI progression looks like in terms of you know where it stands as a graph, right? uh, right now we're sitting at full production scale, uh, and of NGO discovery and matching and reporting automations, right? This is at full power. For NGO discovery and matching and reporting and automation, for these you can absolutely use AI tools, and it has reached full production. Even for at HELPSTiR, we do hyperlocal NGO discovery and matching of beneficiaries based on location, based on their needs within minutes, right? And that happens on with the help of AI, right? So for example, at HELPSTiR, what we do is that if any person walking down the street, if they spot anyone that needs help, say a child that is in need of help with education, earlier it was very impossible or very difficult for anybody to connect them to the right support. But with AI, like you can simply take a picture, tag location, add details, and raise a help request, right? And that help request is sent to all NGOs in that area who are working on that cause, and somebody responds and help is delivered, and the beneficiary is matched to the right NGO based on location, right? And the matching happens, the discovery happens based with AI working in the background. And when I say AI, it can be, there are like different types of AI in the more technical sense: AI natives, machine learnings, and also LLMs. We at HELPSTiR use a combination of AI native and LLMs. LLMs are large language modules. Some famous ones that you might have heard are Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT. These are LLMs, but we are also building our own AI native matching system. What is scaling right now in India is voice first access and real time utilization. This is scaling up in India right now. Voice took a big I don't know if you guys, I'm sure like you guys have actually heard in the last 1 or 2 years, lots of voice recordings and voice trainings of LLMs and modules was happening in the last 2 years across rural India, where basically large language modules were being trained on voice, and gig workers and rural women were actually paid to record their voice. And what was actually happening was the LLMs were being trained in understanding local languages, and now that applications of that is scaling in India massively. Um, Already the base for that with platforms like Sarvam and government government's system like Bhashini. Bhashini is a government voice platform. It's an open source thing. You can adapt it in any of your solutions, right? Bhashini is there, Sarvam is there, even Google's voice APIs are there that you can use. But like for Indian solutions, um, we would actually suggest things like Bhashini or Sarvam. So like applications of this is scaling now, like already the infrastructure is built, right? And then there is outcome prediction, program evaluation. This is right now being developed, right? Even at HELPSTiR we are uh, building for outcome prediction and program evaluation, right, with the CSR AI tool that we are launching, where we are right now piloting how do we predict outcomes of the program based on the inputs that we are getting, and with that prediction can we make it better, the programs that we are already running, right? And even for program evaluation, right, how do we continuously do continuous monitoring and evaluation based on the data inputs that the NGO is giving us and the funder requirements, right? How do we constantly evaluate programs? Earlier, all this evaluation and everything was extremely manual. People would send out reports maybe once in a month, once in a quarter, and once in a quarter you would get those data, and then you would calibrate the data and understand or predict, or maybe you just wait for the end of the year reports. But now that's no longer the case with AI. The data is absolutely with every day reportable, trackable, traceable. So at any point, you can just open a dashboard and see, okay, this is the program where the program is sitting right now. Maybe if I change this and this, it will increase the outcomes in the next 2 months. So that functionality is something that is now possible with AI. And what's emerging in this with AI and philanthropy is AI-led due diligence and risk and credibility scoring. This is something that even we are right now building in terms of how do we assign trust score and impact scores. Okay. Uh, how do we design trust score and impact scores, right? Within the platform, and how do we even rate for risk and credibility scoring, right? Risk and credibility scoring in the sense of risk and credibility of an NGO. How does the AI assess that by reading through their impact reports, their due diligence documents like 12A, ATG, annual reports, and then assign a risk and credibility scoring to it? And that becomes like a standard across for all organizations. That's something that right now we are also building. But yes, with AI, it is all possible. So I'm just going to quickly pause here and see if anybody has any questions or thoughts before we talk about the 4D uh, lens for AI and philanthropy.
Um, I'm not sure whether I understood correctly when you were talking about the voice part of it
Hmm.
and the aspirational districts, because we were not last year, the year before, trying to connect with some NGOs working in the nutritional space in
Hmm.
some of the aspirational districts. And so they were using radio as a means of communicating.
Hmm.
But I don't know how your voice will. I mean, they need to have some instrument there to be able to use that, right?
Yeah, they need like a smartphone, or even a feature phone would work. Like even if they don't have a smartphone, like a feature phone would actually help. But it depends, what are you using the voice for? Like, are you using that for discovery, or are you using to give information to already existing beneficiaries that you have, or are you doing that to collect data? It depends on the outcome. What kind of solution can you even design voice in? Like, even like this is something that we are building at HELPSTiR as well, like our entire concept of help request, right? Where somebody spots somebody who needs help, they can take a picture, tag location, and add details, right? And that is sent to all NGOs in that area, and somebody responds. That itself has a dependability on our tech, and somebody accessing the tech, right? But now with at HELPSTiR as well, we are taking it at next level and saying that we will actually publish like a helpline number, which will be AI enabled, right? So any beneficiary can just call on that number, talk to the AI, and AI will pick up like few points from over the conversation, in the conversation that they're having, and then route them to the right organization, right? And the same feature will also be available on our app, right? Where the beneficiaries, in if they don't know how to operate the app, they can just say what they want, and the AI will route them according to the conversation to the right support.
Yeah, I mean, for me particularly, it's a little difficult to imagine, but I'm sure if you say it's happening, it's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now it's not something that's what I was just mentioning, that this is now, like in terms of voice specifically, the technology and infrastructure is already built. So in the last 2 years, 3 years, lots of investment has happened in building that infrastructure. And in fact, it's not just the private companies, it's the government as well that has built it in form of Bhashini AI. It's a government voice, API platform where government has enabled 22 Bhashini in 22 Indian languages. So in any Indian language, you say, and the AI will be able to get the information and be able to transcribe that and route it. The applications and the use cases are totally yours to do. That infrastructure is there, right? So like ours is one of the use cases, like in your case maybe, where that information was being transferred through radio, right? Maybe like in those in when the information is, I would want to understand what information was being sent out by radio, right? If it was just information that you want people to know, then it's different. But maybe on the radio you can even say that agar aapko iski help chahiye to is number pe call kariye, and then they talk to the AI and explain what they want or what they're going through, or like if there is any medical help or any kind of assistance they need, they can talk to the AI, and then AI will route it to the right person who can help or right support that the beneficiary needs. Like, basically thinking how can we basically expedite this entire thing and fit it into our current workflows, even if we're not designing the new ones.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Super. Actually, I'm going to talk a little more about, the 4D lens, and I think that will also help you give a little bit of more clarity on how do you apply such things into your workflows, right? And how do you even assess where can I, at what aspect in these things can I use AI, or there are use cases that I can explore, right? So this is something that we have developed. It's a 4D lens, right, of understanding AI, right, in philanthropy, and the use cases in philanthropy as well. The first one is discovery, right? Discovery in terms of discovering beneficiaries, right? Hyperlocal beneficiaries surface within seconds and not weeks. So I'm sure you guys have, like, since you guys have been working in this sector for so long, you are aware that until now the beneficiary discovery process has been extremely manual, right? Where people would go door to door, right, or and do surveys, right? And to cover an area in surveys as well, it used to take a lot of manual effort, right? Where and even like it can take months to cover an area through door to door survey. And in fact, like, what we realized in our pilot as well is that these manual surveys and door to door things, they may work in areas where people are stationary. But if people are migrating day in day out, right, then maybe the person I surveyed today is no longer my target beneficiary next 3 months because they have moved, right? So there is a lot of need for the beneficiary discovery to be real time, right? And that can be done now through AI, right? That's something that we have applied at HELPSTiR, where people can just say that, hey, I need help, or somebody else can say for them that, hey, they need help, and it's just raised as a help request, and the AI matches them to a nearby NGO that can actually help, right? So that's the how the discovery part is being solved for the beneficiaries. And again, like, since it's AI, it matches to the nearest support, location based, need based as well. If I as a beneficiary, maybe I am homeless and I don't also have access to education, right? But the AI understands that the homeless needs to be solved first, because even if I solve for education and the person does not have a house or shelter or a safe space, they will not be able to go to school, right? So the AI makes that kind of judgment calls and matches the right support in the right organization to do. And then this hyperlocal discovery, or in general discovery as well, just not it's not just limited on hyperlocal discovery of beneficiaries and matching them to right NGOs. It's also discovering the right beneficiaries for things like schemes, right? Or government mudra loans, right? Even for that, imagine for a beneficiary that is an aspirational district in and a woman entrepreneur, right, who has a pickle business, right? She doesn't have so much digital knowledge. She knows a little bit, has a smartphone, can operate WhatsApp, can operate YouTube, but does not know how to apply for a mudra loan, right? Or for how to understand how does she apply for a mudra loan. But now through voice, she's discoverable, because she can just say in the voice systems, right, that कि मैं यहाँ से हूँ, मैं से again like गया बिहार से हूँ, मैं 26 साल की हूँ, मैं अचार बनाती हूँ और मेरा हर महीने इतना पैसा आता है और मुझे एक लोन चाहिए, and then the AI surfaces loan opportunities for her, right? So again, like discovery, solving for discovery, not just on the NGO lens or the funder lens, but also for beneficiaries. It's going to greatly surface beneficiaries in those contexts, right? The second one is diligence, right? Diligence, when I say diligence, of course, it's due diligence, right? Until now, like, I spoke with a lot of funders, I spoke with a lot of NGOs, and I understood that the due diligence process is extremely manual. It has been like extremely manual and time taking. Like, I, as a funder or as an RFP maker, right, I can spend maybe weeks, if not months, in just when I open an RFP. First thing I do is like do the due diligence on every person that is uh, submitted an RFP, right? If the due diligence crosses, then I go with the proposal side, right? But AI makes it possible that due diligence is actually done for the funders and bigger philanthropies, instead of them every time following the same process. Even if, like, for example, I as HCL have certain standards that I need to always follow, right? When I am doing due diligence of an organization I want to work with. But until now, maybe it has all been manual. Every time an application comes, I assess on those standards. But now AI makes it possible that I basically declare those standards and give design the AI tool in such a way, in an intelligent system, and tell them this is how you need to assess and do the due diligence, and it does it for you, giving you the right outcomes, right scores, and saving weeks, and in fact, in retrospective, months of times on every partner request that you get. The third is deployment, right? uh Deployment has, again, like, aspects of voice, right? Earlier, the beneficiary did not have access to certain resources, now have access to it, because It doesn't require digital literacy for a beneficiary to access any resources, but also AI also helps deploy these resources better in terms of, you know, who is the beneficiary that the NGO is, you know, helping through the funds that I have deployed, right? Identifying the who in terms of the discovery and also tracking. So both ways it works really well. And then demonstration, of course, um, as I was mentioning earlier, live utilization and outcome based evidence, which is absolutely MCA ready. These days, like I don't even need to like, you know, emphasize enough on how much government and regulators and MCA is getting into the process of CSR, how CSR fund utilization is happening, and how NGOs are also operating for that matter. So live utilization and outcome based evidence, right? Which was earlier all scattered on 10 different Google Sheets, 5 different Excels, 15 different email trails with different stakeholders. It was all scattered earlier. But now with AI, it is possible to for it all to come on one platform. In fact, we are ourselves developing a CSR AI agent that enables live utilization and reporting and outcome based evidence tracking for every funder, for example, I as a funder can come and just prompt, okay, this is what I want to work on. The AI will suggest, okay, this is the needs of the area. So according to that, this is the concept note. These are the organizations you can work with. This is the impact score of that organization. And you can submit for an RFP right over there and do milestone based tracking and live and beneficiary tracking as well within the platform. So AI makes all of this possible, right? So this is actually an activity that I want us to all do. I think it will also help us understand. It's like a small workflow audit. It will help you understand where all there are leaks in your current process and where AI can actually help you. Uh, are we up for it? It was just going to take like a 5-7 minutes thing. Himaji, it will help you understand thoda sa aur.
Yeah, though I doubt my own abilities to do so, but still.
No, that's what I am here for, Himaji.
Okay.
Sure. I'll just share it, put it on my screen again. It is just asking some important, questions, right? In each segment of the 4 days that we have developed, right? And just answer, just like take 5-7 minutes and just answer these questions. Maybe write it down and answer these questions for yourself right now. And then, we can spend some time, you can share those answers as well, and we can discuss it also, right? So that my objective here today is not to confuse even more. It's to make it clearer how and what all aspects can you explore, as an NGO, as a philanthropy, as a funder in terms of AI, and what exactly within those aspects that you are lacking, and AI can help you right now. Yeah. So we'll just take 5-7 minutes of time to quickly answer these questions for ourselves. Maybe write it down as well. The screen is visible, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect.
I think most of us would be done.
Yeah, super. So can we discuss one or two examples maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So anyone who's done this all through, like all four questions have you answered? Like anyone who has completed this one would like to share? Because I think this talks about in context of like if you were picked up like one active commitment from your portfolio, just run through that entire program. So any one or two would be helpful.
So I think Tejal or Amit, you all want to take a shot at it?
I think you can go ahead because I got stuck on the first this thing itself.
Okay, I'm going to ask you because rather I'm going to say what I have done and then I'm going to ask you some questions.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So, my scope of work in the organization, I used to
Hmm.
look for partners across India, but not for very large programs, okay? For
Hmm.
maybe just 2 or 3 events to be done, like NGOs working
Hmm.
in a certain space
Hmm.
for something like employee engagement, for example.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in that case, what I was looking at, firstly, word of mouth. I mean, if I knew
Hmm.
personal connects,
Hmm.
and then on the net, if I could find a
Hmm.
partner who could perhaps
Hmm.
fill the requirement. Okay.
Hmm.
I would say time taken would not really be more than 2 days
Hmm.
for the kind of work that I was looking for.
Right.
And what I might have missed, I can't really say because uh, I had a list of what I was looking for in the partner, right?
Right.
So I don't think that worked there. I mean, I didn't
Hmm.
really miss anything in those.
Hmm.
The other kind of programs that I was working for was basically looking for an outreach partner
Hmm.
because I had to approach several NGOs working in the nutrition space,
Hmm.
and they were to apply for an award. Okay.
Okay.
So, my one source was, of course, which is that NGO partner is. I mean, that on the net you get the
Hmm.
um, I forgot the words.
When you say net, do you mean LinkedIn or do you mean Google search? How do you do it?
No, I mean mostly Google and
Hmm.
sometimes LinkedIn as well.
Right.
But which is this website where all the NGOs, Darpan.
Darpan, हाँ.
Yeah, so we were looking at Darpan. Now, the challenge there used to be that the NGOs mentioned were doing all kinds of things. They were in education, in nutrition, in health, in all livelihood. I mean, the NGO
Hmm.
name was given,
Hmm.
contact was not given,
Hmm.
and that they were working in different spaces. So that really we couldn't use much at all.
Hmm.
Okay, so that is one thing. Where I did find an outreach partner to do this for me.
Hmm.
Uh, I was relying on him
Hmm.
to do the outreach for me.
Hmm.
And this is, I'm talking about the third question about the deployment.
Hmm.
I think just 20% of the intended, I mean, the
Hmm.
number that I had connected, only 20% kind of worked, is what I
Right.
found.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and your last question about how long after a rupee is spent, in
Hmm.
my case, mostly after the program was over. So if the
Hmm.
program was 4 months, then I guess I discovered it after 4 months. But
After four
then,
months. Hmm.
yeah, but then my there was a contract already fixed between the two partners, between me and them. So I knew
Hmm.
also whatever they delivered, if they delivered well, then the rupee was well spent if they didn't do.
Hmm.
So that's what I have experienced, but I would like somebody else also to share.
Right. I think it's very interesting, the Hima that you have shared, right? From like, I think what I'm understanding from your context is like, um, from 2 days or maybe for two like couple of weeks when you were trying to find the outreach partner, like 2 days was for the shorter engagement that you were doing, like the smaller engagement, and then until like couple of weeks maybe to find the right outreach partner that you were trying to find, right? Even through your darpan, and then you would not find the right contact, so you would try to like Google it or like put it on LinkedIn
No, no,
and
no.
find it like that.
No, 1 minute, Alice. What I
Hmm.
meant through Darpan was where I was trying to reach the beneficiary myself. So
Acha.
I was
Okay.
looking for the NGOs with whom I
Hmm.
could connect. And I
Hmm.
needed to connect more than 1,000 because I wanted, say, let's say I wanted 300 NGOs to apply. So I
Hmm.
needed to look for 1,000 NGO names who were working in the nutritional space.
Right. Right.
Now, if AI could help me find those, we tried AI, but we didn't get. So I don't know if
Right.
HELPSTiR is going to help us do that.
Yeah, absolutely. But what AI did you try, if I may ask, and what did not work out for you?
So I use basically ChatGPT. This was
Hmm.
3 years ago. I'm talking about. We didn't get the
Hmm.
award this year, so
Hmm.
2 years ago, not 3 years ago.
Hmm.
But of course, some of my team members are very, very way advanced, and they should
Hmm.
better talk themselves. Guys,
Hmm.
Amit, Neelam, Tejal, you all are using different AIs.
I think, yeah, but mostly people who are like even using AI in that capacity, I think people are mostly using ChatGPT and Claude, but these are not like vetted sources of data, right? These can be used more in a generative sense, like if you want to
Right,
generate documents and, polish an idea or all of that, right? They work actually better in that, less in like filtering sense and less in like
right,
discovery sense for these vetted organizations, right?
right,
So if I were to talk about the flow that you just told me, right? Intended beneficiaries versus how many you actually used, right? I'll just walk you through like how, maybe in the program that you are talking about, where all, AI could have actually helped you, and then like how can that have created better outcomes. First is of course like discovery, like even like HELPSTiR, we understood that discovery has always like been a challenge, and not just in terms of beneficiaries but in terms of NGOs as well. Like you said, like if you were to find a large number of NGOs, like 1,000, right? That's a large number of organizations that you need to find, right? How do you find them faster, vetted way, right? Mat- there are I mean, HELPSTiR is one of the tools that you can use, but there actually no, we are actually building, where I am actually not aware of any other tool in India that you can use that is using AI for NGO discovery. But yes, discovery is one part where AI plays a big role, right, in terms of finding the right organization. Like the tool that we are building, where like any funder or any philanthropy can come and just prompt what you need according to, like for example, I want to do something with children of sex workers in Gujarat, and say 50 lakhs is my budget, right? And the AI will help you generate the concept node according to the need of that area, and also suggest partners, right, that you can work with in that specific location based area, or and also according to the budget that you are trying to work in. So that NGO partner discovery is earlier that used to take like maybe days or weeks. For like for you maybe it took 2 days, for some other people can be weeks. For bigger even for bigger awards and grants, organizations spend sometimes months in discovering the right partner. But now with AI, that can actually happen within minutes, right? There is no more like guesswork trying to find on Google, Darpan, LinkedIn. There's no need for that, because now through AI, you can actually do that within minutes, right? And I think if it was a short engagement, then you don't need to re-vet the organizations that you're working with right now, right? But if you're engaged in a more longer engagement, like maybe for 2 years or 3 years, right, the context of an organization can change from when you started engaging with them. Maybe some compliances have changed, or directors have changed. A lot of context in the organization can change over the years. And what we are also seeing, that organizations are actually, or in projects, we don't re-vet an organization, or we're not continuously vetting an organization according to their current status, through after we have, like, awarded them a grant or a CSR fund, or have any engagement with them. So AI plays a role in here as well, where re-vetting of an organization or continuous vetting of an organization is done, because now AI is continuously tracking all the due diligence documents year on year, in terms of policies as well, and in terms of compliances as well, right? Deployment, like you mentioned, Hima, like reaching 20% of the intended beneficiaries, right? Reaching the right beneficiaries, even if you have an outreach partner, is a challenge, because you don't know where the beneficiaries are. The beneficiaries don't know where the programs are happening, and that's always been a challenge, right? Like when we were even doing our pilot, we understood that the biggest problem to access is actually awareness. People are not aware only that there is a program in my area, or there is a program that can actually help, right? So reaching these kind of beneficiaries through tools like voice AI, right, can actually help discover the beneficiaries faster, right? Or using more digital tools, because now the smartphone penetration, even in rural India, in India in general, has is getting quite fast, and smartphones pricing is also now coming down like drastically. I think the lowest amount in which you can get a smartphone is 1,500 to 2,000. You can even get a very basic smartphone. So smartphone penetration there does definitely help to accelerate the voice AI discovery of beneficiaries, in terms of outreaching as well, right? Finding beneficiaries is also a challenge for people who work on such large programs like Himaji just mentioned, right? So, of course, voice plays and digital tools play a very big role now in the discovery of beneficiaries, instead of the traditional methods that have been used, like door-to-door surveys and all of that, right? And demonstration, since Himaji, the program that you mentioned is 4 months. So, like in 4 months, you got the outcomes, but you mentioned a thing which is actually one of the all funders fear ki agar whatever they are reporting, if that is true, then I think it is the money well spent. That trust is still a little bit lacking, even for a small program like 4 months, right? Imagine for a program which is running for 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. Now there is more need than ever for the trust to be more vetted and more visible and provable, right? Earlier, it was like, ki, हाँ, ठीक है, the NGO is saying we have to go by face value. And that is the reason this entire game has all been a lot about trust, how we organize, how we identify organizations. But now, even the regulators are asking to move beyond trust and go towards a lens of more proving and outcomes that are tangible and provable, even from regulatory perspective and even from funder perspective. So AI does absolutely play a big role in that. There are platforms that you can use to monitor the program, right? For every define the outcomes that you need, right? And the AI will help track from the NGO side, taking all the data and ensuring the program is on track. And in fact, the fund is also um trackable to at a beneficiary level. Like even if somebody says that they have engaged, say, 2,000 beneficiaries, have they listed those 2,000 beneficiaries onto the platform, right? And can the funder have a view of, even if the PI data is masked, but can the funder still see, okay, yeah, 2,000 beneficiaries were actually listed, right? So those kind of AI enablements can actually help the funders track the data better, and hence this uh, whole thing of, okay, if they have done what they said they did, then it was good. That if would actually go, because it actually becomes more provable with AI. I'm gonna quickly pause and see if you have any like questions, follow-up questions on this.
No, I think that was quite clear. So this is not a individual tool that you're making. It's a generic thing that everybody can use, right?
Yeah. It is, the tool that we are developing is actually like multi-phased, right? In terms of there are the beneficiaries or civil society people can also access it, like NGOs can also access it, and funders can also access it. Everybody has the functionality of their own, right? When civil society people can actually raise help requests, right? And or somebody can even say that, hey, I need help, or this person needs help. That kind of like discovery is solved at that level. And for NGOs, we solve for beneficiary discovery and funder discovery both. And for funders are able to discover like NGOs and also track down beneficiaries, monitor their entire program like that at HELPSTiR. And I think HELPSTiR is just the beginning. I think AI is going to bring a lot of these innovative solutions like HELPSTiR, right? And not just like in context of the way that we are doing, maybe different contexts as well, right? We are ourselves, getting a lot of queries and, requests to develop AI tools for and solutions for philanthropies in terms of, their specific programs and projects, right? On how can they like basically get better outcomes for their current beneficiaries, right? And we also help assess, okay, is AI useful here or not? If yes, how? Right, we also help do that. So AI is like changing all of like the aspects that I'm changing. These are like all these are four aspects that we are like thoroughly even covering in our platform, but some people are picking up just one aspect, and going deep in that and building AI solutions for that. And I absolutely truly believe that in future, in the next 5 or 10 years, philanthropy is actually, a lot of people are going to like explore individual aspects of these as well, in terms of how to design solutions and programs. Let me just go back to my presentation. Yes. Yes, so I think roughly covered this as well. Like the biggest leak is at the end, right? Where most funders are waiting for end of the project to get like reporting, but with AI, it's absolutely possible live, right? Vetting is one time, not continuous. Like we spoke, like vetting is, it has to be continuous, not um you know one time thing, right? Maybe some aspects of compliances have changed for an organization that does not match your requirement anymore. How will you get to know about that? So AI plays a role in that. And you found a partner, not the partner. I think this is a thing that we also saw a lot. People go with partners that they find trustable, even if they're not the best for the role or for the best for the job. And again, like trust has a lot of role to play for it. Compliances have a lot of role play for it. But AI solves for all of that, right? The reach gap hides in plain sight, right? Even after like such amazing efforts, still a large sum of beneficiaries is left untouched by the program. the beneficiaries actually need it. Like Himaji also said, 20%, like 80% of the beneficiaries could not even access the program that was designed for them. Uh, and that's like a big reach gap, right? And there are like solutions that can be tailored to reach these beneficiaries, if not HELPSTiR, something else, but AI can help do that. I think we have touched on these aspects and 6 categories in detail earlier, but these are like 6 categories in AI and philanthropy fields, right? Hyperlocal discovery and matching, which we spoke about in detail, AI diligence and risk scoring, voice and vernacular access, right? Real-time utilization and tracking, which we also spoke about how that is possible now instead of like year-end reports. Outcome prediction and evaluation. This was not done earlier. I mean, it was just manually done by consultants who could predict the outcome based on certain data points they have now. But now AI can continuously live do that, right? At any point, you can open a dashboard and see, okay, what's been my impact now and what's the projected impact and how can I change it, right? So reporting and compliance automation is also, of course, one of the aspects that AI can do really well. I want to talk I think we've already spoken a lot about the voice aspect of AI. And this is personally as a person who develops AI products and a person who is very passionate about and sees the things at a very different lens. This is my personal opinion and observation that voice is going to actually change the India a lot, especially access for people living in the rural India and semi-urban, peri-urban India greatly. People who never had the access or understanding or digital literacy, the need to read and write or be digitally literate to access a solution has basically gotten skipped with voice AI. Until now, if somebody needs to access anything, they need to read and write. If they need to fill a form, they need to read and write. They need to know that, right? Otherwise, they're dependent on somebody else to fill the form for them, right? Or I will never get to know what I I am eligible for, I can get unless somebody tells it to me. Or even if I know how to read and write, if I don't know how to use a smartphone or navigate it, I would not be winning because even if I know how to read and write, if I can't do this I don't have the digital literacy, I will not be able to do it. But now that has changed. There's no need for me to know how to read and write. There is no need for me to have digital literacy to access resources. I can just use my regional language, be it Uriya, be it Bengali, be it Haryanvi, be it any language, Konkani, any language, right? If I know the language and I know how to talk in my language, I can just, say to through my voice what I need, and the solution will give the outcomes that it is designed for. For example, if the tool is designed to look for schemes that you are eligible for, then through voice only, the schemes will be populated according to the information that the person inputs through voice. So that's a big leap. And I absolutely see a lot of solutions and a lot of program solutions being designed for voice, right? In the future. So voice is going to be a big a game changer on how benefits, social security, and any philanthropic resources are delivered in the population of India that has no literacy or digital literacy, no matter what. So this is across the sector. There are like similar playbooks happening again, like be it education, health, livelihoods. Everybody's it can the thematics can be different, but the solution and how the solution is being delivered is similar through voice, location, need. All this play a very big role, and all these can be very easily tracked and mapped through AI. So, three regulatory shifts that are happening, and it's all happening in one direction, right? And that talks about transparency, and it talks about how the reporting is done. And as I said, like there's a very interesting this report that we should all go through. It is issued by it's a parliamentary report, really amazing. But with the new regulations, CSR2, social stock exchange, Schedule 7, again, a lot of emphasis on uh, project level reporting, how the reporting is done, right? It's no, it cannot no longer be, we did this work, this is year end report, that's the impact. Questions can be even asked on what impact was created or how was it created, who were the people who benefited. Lots of details that the regulators are going into, right? NGO, like with social stock exchange. In fact, we are doing a webinar separately talking about the compliances that are required for social stock exchange, right? And also how it is changing dynamics for funders, right? But yes, compliances are only pointing in one direction, that oh, sorry, updates are actually pointing in only one direction, that compliances and how the compliances are being managed is going to be extremely important. And AI is going to play a very big role in it in terms of tracking, finding the right partners, keeping their documents traceable, trackable, and in fact, keeping the project outcomes also traceable and trackable to the level of beneficiaries. So this is like a small, analysis that you can do on where does your, active commitments sit right now, right? Are you, and in which aspect of this matrix are you in terms of your portfolio commitments? Like even if you have 4 or 5 projects, maybe map which, where does each of your project is sitting, right? Are you sitting at compounding, or are you sitting at reconsider, right? um cap uh, where there is low, reconsider is basically where there is low traceability, everything is manual, right? Or are you AI ready, right? If you are you building an AI layer, does your product or program can build an AI layer, right, into it? And are you ready for building an AI layer into it? Have you already identified what all aspects of your current program can be AI ready, right? uh, Compounding is basically if you're AI ready and now you're like compounding the AI tools that you're using, right? And that's creating like high leverages for you in terms of how you're identifying your partners, how you're tracking your beneficiaries, how you're doing due diligence. Those are different aspects of your project that you can compound AI in. And AI mature is basically everything is running well. Everything, you have reached the peak of including AI into your workflows in your project, right? So compounding is a good state to be in, and even AI mature is going to be a good state to be in. You should like maybe I can share this also as a document later on. You can map where you are sitting, and it will help you understand, okay, if this project is sitting, say, in AI ready, how do I get, or which of the 4Ds can I put, any of the solutions in? Okay, a post AI philanthropy portfolio looks like every rupee is traceable, and of course, partners are vetted, beneficiaries are reachable and traceable, right? And every report is automatic. That's how a post world would look like. So we do see that different type of funders are actually now looking at, AI, including AI into their portfolios, AI native family offices, strategic philanthropists, and forward-leaning foundations. Bigger foundations have, like, even we are having like conversations with bigger foundations on how do they integrate AI into their current workflows, creating better outcomes for beneficiaries. So we're already having these conversations with people. And even the tool that we are even launching it for CSR funders and HNIs, because even HNIs want to have better view of their philanthropy portfolios now. So this is how you build your AI layer. Do you build for a platform? Do you build it for with the service, or do you build it for intelligence? These are like different layers in which are types of models that you can operate in when building an AI solution, or when including an AI solution. These are different models, right? So that you can explore. This is how a 90-day pilot project would look like. You diagnose your current program, you design with AI, then you deploy, you do pilots, and then you demonstrate results. Yes. So that was the end of my conversation here today about AI and philanthropy. I hope I have said AI today at least 1,000 times, and I'm sorry about that. But yes, I hope it was helpful, and I hope it added some value, and I'm happy to also answer any questions now.
Yeah, so the last part you said that was really interesting, the voice especially, because you might be knowing about Joe Stock's founder, Supriya.
Yeah.
So they are now pivoting to AI, and because they have such large sets in vernacular, like in local languages, they're trying to train AI so that it can capture the voice of a heavily accented English as well, like convert it into proper text. Because as you said, India is more of a verbal country rather than a typing
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Can help every person, irrespective of their accents and irrespective of the background noise as well.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely agreed. Actually, that's what I was, mentioning, that, we, like, in the last 2-3 years were especially in the context of voice, it was more towards infrastructure building, right? Where AI models were being trained to understand Indian languages, context, accents, and all of that. But now we are at that point. Now it's time to like design solutions and utilize on those infrastructures, right? And not always that we have to, develop our own models. Like sometimes we can even use the models that are already existing, like Bhashini or Sarvam, है ना? You just have to design the solution and put the already existing infrastructure behind it, right? For example, I say that this agent is only supposed to ask questions to understand health related issues, menstrual health related issues, right? So the AI will basically talk to me and say कि अच्छा दीदी आपके last periods कब आए थे, और आपको कैसा लगा था, आपको कैसा महसूस हुआ था, कितने दिन तक आपको periods आए थे, asking all the AI is asking all these questions in a more natural way, and just having a conversation with the other person, right? And it's also understanding the person in their natural language, right? So those infrastructures are already there. Then you design solutions. So what I'm just saying is actually a solution, but the infrastructure of voice that is already existing, I'm just utilizing that, right? And I'm just saying that, okay, this agent is supposed to achieve these outcomes for me, and say कि अच्छा, the AI agent actually asks all these right questions, and then takes all the data, and then does what it's designed for, either match it to the right solution, or just like capture all the information and then reported back, right, to the funder or the organization कि ये issues हैं या ये trend आ रहा है या फिर this is the, or maybe maybe I'm just using it for serving my beneficiaries. तो इन डेटा कैप्चर होके वो सर्वे का रिपोर्ट बन गया कि अच्छा ये अभी करंट स्टेटस है ऑफ बेनिफिशरीज एंड these are the major issues that we are getting in like voice as well. So maybe we can design solutions around this specific thing. Say for example, most women are having anemia, right? Based on the information that we are able to capture कि उनको पेन होता है और बहुत ज्यादा और चक्कर आते हैं, कमजोरी लगती है most women को. तो like just like giving you examples, but yeah, that's how voice actually works. Super. Any other questions? I would love to answer any questions, or I'm very happy to take any questions separately as well. If anybody wants to like reach out for any specific if you want to have any of your programs also evaluated, very happy to do that.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you so much. All I can say is I'm very glad I spent most of my time without AI. Especially, I wouldn't want to have a AI agent talk to me and find out I mean, so that's what I feel. I know you all want to progress and you all want to develop, but at what cost is finally a question that I think is coming up in many minds also now. But till everybody thinks that way, I guess it will go on this way, and it's better to get adapted to it. That's all I can.
Yeah, absolutely, Himaji. I mean, traditional ways have always been like, great and amazing. And they have actually, made a lot of progress. Like from where we all started, the traditional ways have made us reach to the point that we are today, right? But yes, like you said, times are changing, like, and if there are any ways that we can use, see, AI is, even if you use it in philanthropy or not, it's anyway staying, right? So
Yeah, that's
overall
right.
in the world,
Absolutely.
right? So matlab, that's what we also, like, when we started building HELPSTiR, we did not build HELPSTiR natively as AI. We built it actually as an inbuilt tech platform, right? But with the AI, with the use of AI, our entire road mapping of the product, which went from 5 years to 1.5 years. So, like, because now we are using more AI into what we are doing, right? So, and it just basically for me, it means as an individual or a founder that if I were to impact those number of lives in 5 years, now I can just reach those lives, say, in
Yeah,
one
I'm
and a
sure.
half years.
Absolutely, I'm
So
sure.
but yeah. Great having this conversation with you guys today, and amazing responses as well. So yes, I will share this presentation as well, and also the link to the report, which is the parliamentary report that I was talking to you guys about. I think it's a very interesting report that everybody should go through, and will add a lot of perspective since it's a parliamentary recommendation that has come. So it will actually add a lot of context as well to what I was just sharing today.
Thank you.